This is Smithy.tv.
Yes, it's that time again for breaking down the news here on Smitty TV. I'm Kenny Robinson with
Clifton Joseph.
and we are breaking down the news.
Break it down, break it down, break it down.
All news that is fit to be rehashed, recycled, and
Reinterpreted, revisited, and removed.
removed and rebuked. Anyway, so the biggest news of last week and this week, something that's affecting our economy that's got nothing to do with us, is the UK has said goodbye to the EU.
Bye, 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 Brexit, bye, bye.
Brexit. Brexit broke it.
Brexit, they gone. We're gone. We're gone. Out of here.
I don't think Great Britain really needed to be part of the UE.
Well, but Great Britain
EU
kicked and were pulled in and stormed into the EU. They didn't even change their currency.
No, they kept their
currency.
pounds being pounds.
Mind you, it's only 19 of the 28 countries that actually use the euro, but Britain don't like Europeans.
And
The British
Norway
don't
didn't
like
go with them
Europeans.
either.
Norway did Norway go? And
think-
Greenland pulled out too as part of
But
Denmark.
I think Norway never did join.
Yes, I guess some of them didn't. Switzerland, is Switzerland in there too?
Well, if it was a war, Switzerland wouldn't be involved, so they probably, But, so that is that. So what do you make of this whole thing?
Well, wow, Kenny. I think that there are two things that seem to be pushing it. One is people saying that there are too many regulations because there's a European Parliament, right, in Brussels, and they make laws, transportation, environment, for all the countries of the UN. It's supposed to be a common economic unit that everybody can trade. There's free movement. You don't got to have a visa. You can get health care in any country you are. So some people are saying, the no side, the people who wanted to leave, saying that, look, there are too many of these laws, it's holding us back. We're putting too much into it. Britain supposedly puts in about $8-9 billion a year into it and gets about 5 out of it.
Yeah.
And of course, the other thing is some out and out fear of immigrants.
Well, not all immigrants. They ain't afraid of them Swedish boys coming over. Let's call it like it is.
Yeah, true.
Let's break it down for the people.
So-called colored immigrants,
Not
Muslims.
Muslims. Because some of them Muslims are some acting up motherfuckers in the UK. Now, let's not hold our breath and pretend that shit ain't happening.
Hey, everybody's acting up.
No, they are cutting heads off in the street. There are several mosques that are calling out for Sharia law and to overthrow everything that's not Islamic.
Okay, you telling me that most Muslims are
I'm not
violent?
saying most. I'm saying Great Britain's got troubles that we couldn't even imagine.
Oh,
if we had, like here in Canada,
Who doesn't?
Here in Canada, you won't get a cleric, a Muslim cleric saying, death to all infidels and convert. We're going to change the whole world. You will not get that here in Canada.
Of course, they're clerics here who say death to homosexuals.
But they say it quietly. In Britain, them dudes is outside marching in the street, carrying signs with no shyness about it.
So there's a saying in the Caribbean: you cut your nose to spoil your face, right? To spite your face. So you're telling me that Britons get to move through the rest of Europe without visas, free flowing of trade, all kind of things, and because you have some problems with Muslims, you're gonna say we're gonna pull out of this economic unit?
Yes, because they're expecting to open up all those Marks Spencers, all those Spencers and Marks stores are going to come back to Canada like we never seen them. We're going to get all those good candies, and they're going to buy more maple syrup. I have a friend of mine. He's a Facebook friend. He moved his family from South Africa back to England because he's a security consultant in Afghanistan. And he consult which dudes to shoot. Yeah. So, and he was very much in favor of this. And he sent me, and when I had a little mini discussion with him on Facebook, and it seems like in the West we are ringing around. This is terrible, but he's like, no, this ain't so terrible because I'm over here dealing with this shit, and this is what my wife and child has to deal with back there. We left South Africa and back to the grime of England. They left nice weather for nasty weather, but in the future, there is no future. Isn't that what the Sex Pistols said?
Well, look,
vacant.
Look, James Baldwin had a saying, right? That
Bond?
James Baldwin.
Oh,
the African American writer extraordinaire, civil rights guy, etc. He said,
he wrote The Toilet. Wasn't it? Didn't he have another name? No. That was
Barack.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Baldwin said, there used to be a time the saying was that the sun never sets on the British Empire. These days, the sun can hardly find the British Empire. For a country that went all over, pillaged the world, had so much of the world bringing their goods to them, the slave trade, India, got all these countries. How can you make all that money over such centuries and still be pissed broke?
What have you done for me lately?
So this jingoistic thing, this xenophobia is ridiculous.
But it's also not totally unjustified.
Oh, come on. How do you justify that, Kenny? What do you do? You're going to keep the Muslim, you're going to keep ISIS out by coming out of the EU?
No, I just think they need to squeeze tighter on the dudes that are screaming and hollering in the street.
Oh,
well, they're doing that. But I mean, most of these cats that are joining ISIS are running from England and running back. Disenfranchised youth. So I'm saying I understand their paranoia and I understand their fears.
And then you understand their stupidity?
I can't call it stupid, really, because he also printed, this friend of mine was telling you about, he...
the contractor?
The
security. Consultant, yeah.
The consultant. He sent a picture of bombed out London and a woman walking down the street in bombed out London, and he says, "We've survived worse. We will carry on."
The English are tough.
That's that bulldog attitude.
Yeah.
It's like Hitler couldn't bomb us out, so this whole
Kenny,
European Union isn't going to do it.
You make the British to sound a bit soft. If they're worried about Muslims,
no, I wouldn't say they're soft.
Why don't you just put those soccer hooligans out there? Them guys go all over.
But that's who voted for them to leave. Everybody thinks it's the old English guy sitting in the country garden. Oh yes, Pennyfield, I think we should vote. No, it was me, mate, who doesn't have a fucking job. Yeah, fucking cunt. We've got no votes. All these fucking cunts from Pakistan are coming here taking our work.
The lumpen proletariat ignoramus, the right-wing brigade. Is that what you're saying?
I believe that was the one that carried the vote. Always the working class man voting against his better interests.
Well, you see,
but like some people said, now that they're no longer in the union, in the European Union, they can no longer go to other countries and find jobs. But the ones that voted for them to leave did not have the education or the qualifications to be getting a job in any other country. Well, they was losing them to the immigrants coming in.
See, jingoistic xenophobia one more time. Let me give the example of Cornwall, the county of Cornwall. They voted to leave, right? Majority. Now they're realizing, you know what? They used to get 60 million pounds a year from the EU, and now that they voted to leave, they won't be getting that 60 million, and they're hoping now that the British Parliament is going to give them that 60 million.
Well, they got brothers doing their math for them? I thought only we made mathematical mistakes like that.
Well, you see, when you get...
Because last week we talked about how none of us can get our math straight.
I dropped math in grade 10 myself, so don't look at me. 5 plus 5 equals 15. So you have situations like that where... and it's happening across the world, where the working class... sometimes don't even know their own interests.
No,
perfect example. They're taken away by whatever rhetoric, by whatever so-and-so. Both sides spent nearly 10 million pounds to put on this charade, right? And now, in the midst of it, the Prime Minister has resigned. He's out of office.
The minute you ain't with the policy, I'm sorry, I messed up, I'm out of here.
Plus, the other thing is that they're not out of it yet.
It takes 2 years, but then the EU's saying if you're going to leave, then get going. Don't let the doorknob hit you in the ass on the way out. If you leave, leave.
Get out of here.
But wait now, now my man Boris becomes Prime Minister.
Boris Johnson.
Man, Boris Johnson sound like a German brother, don't it?
Yeah, he does kind of have a similarity to Trump, doesn't he? They're here at the very least.
I think he has more credibility than Trump. But the best thing, Trump, the day of it, making his speech while he's there to promote his kid's golf course.
In Scotland, no less.
That's the beauty. He's saying the elite have to get the message. And I say, you mean the elite that are waiting to golf? I love it. Only he can talk about the elite while he's standing there, part of the elite, getting the elite money. And he's saying Britain has taken back their country, and Scotland says, well, we're trying to get our freedom, but we voted to stay.
Mm-hmm. So, because what it is, in terms of the UK now, England and Wales voted to leave.
Yeah.
But Scotland and Northern Ireland voted to stay. Now remember, Scotland barely lost that referendum to leave England.
Right, to leave the UK.
So now we see the specter of Scotland saying, you know what, we want the EU, so we're going to leave you.
Freedom!
Brexit, and we're going to leave Britain. And we're going to go into the
It
EU.
almost sounds like the Clash. Brick. Should I stay or should I go?
Yeah, it's again, Kenny, it highlights the fact that politicians, the people are tired of politicians, but the politicians are still in there influence the people's
Trump
decisions.
is the perfect example of
Yes.
a non-politician. So you can't always get what you want. Why are we quoting these English bands? Because it's their problem. And I just hope Texas...
Anarchy in the UK.
Texas is always talking about leaving, and I hope if they're going to leave, they leave within the next 6 months, so Obama can say, this is what it feels to be like for me. So anyway, this is what it feels like to be out of time for this topic, man.
Brexit, we're leaving this topic.
Well, we voted to leave it.
Yeah.
Did we?
It's gone.
It's gone. We're out.
Let's have a referendum again.
We will find out in the next segment that we have less time now because for our second segment than we would have had if we had just done the entire segment on Brexit. So
It's the way it is.
anyway, that's us breaking down Brexit. So I would say Brexit is broke,
Like Blowback Mountain.
like Benny and the Jets.
Benny and the Jets.
Just keep giving you these British rock and rollers.
yeah.
So
Wake up, Maggie. I think I had something to say to you.
I
Just
think
left
that was the morning of the election. Anyway, Clifton Joseph
Kenny Robinson.
breaking down the news. Where are we coming from?
The bunker.
The bunker.
Of Smithy TV.
When all this shit hits the
SMITHE.TV.
fan, we will be reporting it and breaking it down here.
And wiping it off of our face.
Broken.